Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Dreamhack Quarterfinals, where only 8 teams remain. We are watching Quantic versus mTw. This is a best-of-3 series. I am Luminous from dotacommentaries.com, and today joining me alongside is LD from DC as well. What is up as you are anticipating this matchup?
Well, the last time these two teams faced off, it feels like it was a fairly long time ago, but it was actually only, I think it was a week or so. And mTw took that in a very convincing fashion, 2-0 in Quantic, and frankly, neither game felt close. mTw jumping out to an early lead with their very aggressive pushing style. They get a couple of early towers, maybe a few picks, and then they just control the map, slowly siphoning away any ability for Quantic to find farm or levels. And especially when you have a player like Korok who loves to get to that mid game with some items and some levels and really carry it on his shoulders. That's a good way to go. We'll have to see, is Quantic in fact the one-trick pony that teams have accused them of being in the past, or are they going to show a little diversity? Lone Druid going the way of mTw, that'll be played by Funzy, and every time I've watched his Lone Druid, he dominates his lane, he gets a really fast relic, and from there it's all smooth sailing. Will Quantic be able to shut down that Lone Druid? Well, if you want to do that, Chen is one of the best heroes to have in the game. Could definitely look for some early smoke ganks. If you're not actually killing the Lone Druid, pushing his tower is a good way to try and limit his farm. So I'm excited to see how this game turns out, and hey, I'm a fan of American Dota. I'll be rooting for Quantic, but mTw definitely the favorites heading into this match.
You got it right on the, you hit the nail on this head. I think that is the correct phrase. You're absolutely right. One of the best ways to deal with Lone Druid is pressure. Whether you're pressuring his towers, whether you're pressuring by ganking him, the best way, in fact, is to actually kill his team over and over again. You know Lone Druid is not a hero that could participate in early kind of engagement. He might be able to join his team for a push or two, but he really isn't going to be an early game force. And practically, mTw is going to be playing 4v5, or maybe 4.5v5 to be a little bit more fair, when Lone Druid is out of the picture. And Chen is one of Quantic's most important heroes. They really love to have a jungle ganker being played by Lasted Magic in conjunction with Mikey when he's kind of... Is that Matron or is that Mikey? I'm actually not sure.
It is Matron. Mikey had either visa or passport issues, and so they're having to stand in.
Okay. So, but it remains to be said that their entire strat is based upon of getting a lot of room for Korok to farm in, at least for the first 5-10 minutes, push down on tier 1, and then allow Korok to kind of roam all over the map with morphling and get kills. So, I am happy for Quantic that they got one of their more important pieces in the form of Chen, and they really need to get Crystal Maiden perhaps or Vengeful Spirit to get that secondary support to build those lanes. Now, with that said, you see one of the best defensive hero being picked up here by mTw, the Shadow Demon. That disruption is just immense. Now, early game is mostly going to be used as a defensive tool, but it definitely could disrupt away a target and then set up a whole bunch of ganks. We've seen things like Shadow Demon disruption with Venomous Scale. We've seen Split Earth in the past. There's many ways to combo with this hero, and he remains as a factor throughout the entire game, and you can't say that for a lot of supports, but to me right now, it's up to Quantic to draft the right lineup and then play it correctly. I'm personally rooting for Quantic as well. mTw is the favorite, though. But with Quantic playing in their 100% as well as drafting a correct lineup, I think they could beat just about anybody in the world.
Yeah, they definitely have the talent. The question is, will they have the strategy? Morphling and Windrunner slammed down very quickly. Very strong laning phase for Quantic here. Windrunner, Chen, and Morphling. Two heroes who can solo lanes. Morphling not the strongest solo hero, but quite decent. If they need to leave Korok alone for a bit, he will be playing that Morphling. And I would say it's his best hero, although he has a couple that he does very well with. It's the one that he plays the most often. I believe he actually got a rampage against Absolute Legends, then the internet went down, the game was remade, and they ended up losing.
Wow, that's rough.
They were behind, but they were coming back. I didn't get to watch the game, but that is what I heard, word on the street. So, hey, he's going to get another shot with that Morphling. I will say I'm a bit surprised Quantic didn't opt here for the Panda, because Panda is a hero that Painted Gold has gone solo mid with a lot, and it's really, I think, one of his very strongest heroes. Also, you know mTw loves to run the Enigma, and I very much expect to see a Panda ban in the second stage. So picking up that Panda not only does it give you a hero that you're comfortable with, it really shuts down mTw's ability to pick into a hero that they love. But with that being said, that's a bit of mind games, and hey, you do get yourself a Windrunner, always a versatile solid pick, as well as the Morphling, Korok's personal favorite. The laning phase for Quantic, they have a lot of killing potential. They're also very survivable. I mean, you talked about the defensive power of Shadow Demon, but Morphling, Windrunner, Chen, this is a hard-to-kill team. If anyone could do it, it's probably this mTw lineup. They have a lot of lockdown, the disruption, the purge, the Enigma Malefice, the black hole, and most importantly, that bear root. You can never count out the power of a Lone Druid getting those early entangles. Lich gets the ban here, and I have to say, MTW know they're Quantic because Quantic is one of these teams that love to, and in fact, in the series versus MTW, they picked, I think Lich was either banned or picked in both of those games, and it's a hero that Quantic favor, I think, to a fault as one of their supports.
Why do you think it's to a fault?
Well, because MTW likes to run push, and yeah, Lich, Frost Armor very strong against the low Druid. Chain Frost does give you a mini stun for that Enigma ult, so I could see why the hero's getting banned, but aside from that, what does he really offer you against the push? Not a whole lot. In fact,
not
he
a whole lot.
aids the push.
Yeah. The Chain Frost is actually very weak against summon-based heroes, and Enigma, Shadow Demon, arguably could be a summon-based hero. So yeah, I think you're absolutely correct on that. What that gives you is Korok's laning ability, or kind of heightens it to the next level, which I think, I mean, suicidally it might be. It doesn't stop a push, but we get a big bad Korok, so maybe that's what they're after right now. Now MTW has that one last ban, and you're right, Panda is one of Quantic's 5 heroes. If they could pick whatever they want, I think it's Chen, Windrunner, Morphling, and Panda, and then probably like an exchange of a Lich, Crystal Maiden, Venge, whatever the situation suits for. But now with this said, I'm not sure Quantic will pick into a Panda, even if MTW don't ban it. There's a high possibility that Enigma will be soloing mid, and I think Panda will just get heavily outlaned.
There you go.
A lot of time, Painted Go is going to be put on the mid lane. There's a Panda ban that you predicted, and rightfully so. So I think they're going to be a little bit weak on the mid lane. You can throw Windrunner there, but she's mostly going to be locked on the top lane. So suddenly, I'm not too sure what Quantic will do. I've seen, oh, there you go. It might be a Beastmaster mid. It probably most likely will be the Windrunner mid, because I don't think Beastmaster could handle that Enigma. And in any case, we're most likely expecting a Crystal Maiden on the bot lane. So the lanes, again, very similar hero for Quantic. I think they're very comfortable playing with this lineup. Beastmaster give you that suitable lockdown if Shadow Demon Disruption don't mess you up, and that's a big if. So we'll see how Quantic plays this. If they can get a farm Morphling, they have a shot. They gotta pressure on early towers. They gotta get early ganks. I'm not too sure whether that's suitable to Quantic's playstyle. I think they care a lot more about getting Korok farmed than anything else. Which
well, we'll have to see. I mean, the Beastmaster pickup here, it gives you that off-lane presence. We'll likely see the Ancient camp either warded off. I've seen MTW ward the Ancients before, or the Beastmaster will be doing stacking. Either way, that is an additional investment you have to make. You're right, Beastmaster should be in that off lane because, frankly, he just can't lane against Enigma. If it's Enigma, man, he can't really lane too well against the syllabear either. And if it's any kind of a dual lane with the Shadow Demon, however MTW want to lane this, that's not a good lane for the Beastmaster. So throw him up in the off lane. But I really like this Beastmaster pick because, I mean, and of course Vengeful Spirit, icing on the cake, giving you that aura bonus. I mean, this is not the main reason they're picking these heroes. But it's just a nice sort of additional thing. What he gives you is that roar, as well as the inner beast.
Hold up real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did I get a graphical bug, or did they not ban a hero?
10 seconds
Oh,
remaining.
huh. Yeah,
Their bonus time is down to 0, so I guess they just clocked over it. It's like, forget that.
Doesn't it auto ban someone randomly?
I don't think it does. I
No.
think you just lose a ban.
Wow, I can't believe I missed that. Because you know what it is? The game doesn't make a sound or notify you, and that time is just not very distinctive. So yeah.
Oh, it does. It says like radiant ban, but we don't hear it. I turn it very low.
Right, but it's not like. So anyway, they have a lot of ways to cancel black holes. Swap roar. We're not going to be seeing many black holes this game, and if we do, very unlikely for them to be particularly strong ones. But all that being said, Enigma still gives you that push power. Now, the other reason I really like the Beastmaster pick is he gives you the wild axes, and that's two heroes between the Windrunner and the Beastmaster that can mow down creep waves. A lot of spam is needed when you're up against a pushing lineup, especially one that relies pretty heavily on summons. And with the Enigma pick, Enigma alone, he's enough of a summon pusher that you want to have that AoE. So I like the pick there. Venomancer, this is not. I don't think this is being picked defensively to sort of stop the push. I think it's to add to their push. Now, of course, Venomancer can go either way. Also, another strong ganker. And the question is, how are they going to round out this lineup? One thing I'll say they're lacking, Versamorphly, you want a lot of disables. Shadow Demon Enigma, that's some nice stuns, but I think they might need a little bit more. They're going to go for Queen of Pain, though. So a bit light on the stuns here. Really, all they have is a Malefice, an Entangle, and a Black Hole. And, that Black Hole, you really cannot count on landing at this game.
It seems like MTW actually going for a lot more tower diving. Venomancer, Queen of Pain, all great for that. They have some defensive power in conjunction with that diving power. I think what it comes down to is really, will Quantic stay alive? I think you pointed out that they have an aura-based strategy with the Vengeful Spirit, Beastmaster, and Chen. Well, that aura is only going to be useful if they're all alive, if you ever lose one big piece of that aura, suddenly it's not going to be that important. And that's assuming you get to that aura, though. You know, Vengeful Spirit and Beastmaster, they take a couple levels to get to that aura. So again, that remains to be seen whether they will stay alive, earn that EXP, and hopefully have Korok back. But if they get to that mid game, I think it's actually no comparison, right? There's a syllabear, which is very scary. There's a black hole. There's some big AoE stuff. But the single target concentration of Quantic, they could pick off heroes so easily. A roar, a couple of right hits, they could just go for quick kills. But again, there's a disruption. There's a tankiness. There's a blink. So
there's a remake.
There's a remake, and possibility of black hole as well. So it's going to be tough for both teams to get a couple of kills, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. I gotta say, though, Quantic got everything they wanted. They got Korok's favorite hero. They got a very strong offlaner. They get the aura strat. They get the Chen for last hit magic to run. They get that windrunner. I mean, if you're Quantic, this is exactly the draft you want. So mTw, as good as they are, as many heroes as they got that they like, they get, they have to be feeling pretty confident to give Quantic the heroes that they know Quantic wants to play. And the last time these two teams matched up, maybe this is a difference. They banned out the morphling. They did. Korok was stuck on that storm spirit. They also got a broodmother, which this time around Quantic banned out, or I believe they did. Maybe it was mTw did. Either way, that broodmother was an absolute terror in game 1 of that series. If you haven't already watched that VOD and you want to see just how obnoxious of a hero broodmother is in lane, check that out. It was a storm and a crystal maiden versus a brood. The brood actually, I think she died once early on to sentry wards. She wasn't getting any levels, but one small thing went the wrong way, and all of a sudden, lane's getting pushed down, the enemy jungle's being farmed, nowhere for Korok to go. So that is a big difference to me, that hero's not in the game. We'll see how it goes, as we're about to have this remake.
I mean, I think a fair comparison to make with Broodmother is a Queen of Pain. And we've definitely seen Queen of Pain go big, right? If you give her a little bit of leeway, you give her an inch, she'll take a mile, a feet, whatever. She'll take a lot more. And Broodmother is very similar as a hero. If you give her a little bit more room, she's going to stack up on spider lanes. She's going to have a great level advantage. She's going to have an Orchid or Oblivion Staff next time you go in the lane. And suddenly, no one could go in the lane. Suddenly, your tower's going to get pushed down. So she gets incremental advantage, and she make you pay for it, but in kind of different way than a Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain just kills you. And we've seen that quite a bit. But yeah, Broodmother is an insane beast. And we're not going to see it in this game, I guess, very thankfully for Quantic here. But for now, everyone's picking their heroes. Your gut feeling about the draft. Who had the upper hand?
I gotta say, I think Quantic got the better draft, and I say that because mTw, at least in the matches they've shown to the public, maybe they're doing different things in scrims, they have not shown a whole lot of strategies, and frankly, most of their wins are coming on the back, especially recently of Korok getting morphling. Of course, that early aggression from the Chen, which you talked about, and the Beastmaster. I mean, these are their core heroes, and you gave every single one their way. So if mTw can win this game, giving Quantic every one of their heroes, then I'm not sure how Quantic wins this series. But if Quantic, with these heroes can win the game, then mTw, they're going to be kicking themselves. We actually don't get to see the picks at AP. This is a bit of a bug until the clock winds all the way down. But we should be hopping into it momentarily, so we'll have to see. I mean, one thing mTw really is going for them, their laning stage is outrageously strong. Frankly, all 5 of these heroes can solo a lane. You've got 2 who can be thrown into the jungle, primarily the Enigma, who would be. I mean, but anyone can be left alone at any time, and their laning's not going to suffer too much.
Well, we'll see exactly how the laning would be. Radiant here, they have windrunner going up top. It's going to be played by Solera. Mid lane is going to be Painted Ghost Beastmaster. So it is going to be the traditional Beastmaster mid. Last hit magic on that Chen as predicted here. We have Korok on his famous morphling, and Matrum loves Mikey. Going to be Vengeful Spirit. Mikey's spirit definitely with Matrum here.
Well, they're certainly showing some affection for each other. Meanwhile, for mTw, effing mad on that Enigma. A pair of Observer Wards already picked off. All 5 heroes for mTw headed up to the top lane, looking to punish any sort of foray into their jungle by Quantic, but they're not going to find anything. Very defensive lane ward dropped. I expect to see Funzy up in that safe lane. They'd love to place him there on the lone druid. As I say that, though, he's making a long journey towards the mid or the bottom lane, potentially, so we'll have to see where he ends up.
Ooh, I think the most interesting thing here for the Dire lineup is Synderen's going to be going mid with Venomancer. Many times in the past I said, Venomancer getting farm. He's a very decent laner. He might look like he has a low range, but that Gale always makes him get a couple of last hits in. And if he's going for a poison sting build, it's actually the harass is very strong. If he's not going for a poison sting build.
This middle lane, this is going to be very tough for the Beastmaster.
Yep.
Could easily see a first blood here. I forget about the Enigma and the Queen of Pain. Just this dual lane alone, synderen and Kebab, such a strong dual lane. And if you're Beastmaster, you can't approach the creep wave or you're going to die, especially once those heroes hit level 2. So, I mean, this is not what... I mean, mTw, they had the heroes to lane in any number of ways, but I don't think this is what Quantic would be expecting. You probably wouldn't want to send Beastmaster mid. If you expected this lane, you'd send the windrunner there. So we'll have to see.
Here we go.
Disruption to start, Gale to follow, and Painted Gold in a world of trouble. Probably won't die to this, but he's going to take a lot of damage, and that's not going to be a very happy Beastmaster.
And that's nowhere near the full power of what this lane could offer. Poison Sting wasn't in line, Soul Catcher wasn't in line, and perhaps you could arguably sell a waste of mana to make that go. But hey, they are very castable spells. The Gale doesn't take too much mana that already uses Salve Painted Gold. He's not going to get any farm in this lane. mTw, synderen, and Kebab will be hitting level 2 momentarily, and that's when Beastmaster really is going to have trouble in this lane. He's going to use Axis to try to push the lane out, because generally if you see, oh, I'm under my tower, I'm relatively safe, that's actually when you're the most dangerous. When the enemy creep wave is tanking your tower shots, that's when you're actually going to die the most time, because they have a big window to die for you.
They can dive you a lot easier. I want to point out, Fuzzy has done a nice job here of pulling the creep wave over with his bear. You see a lot of players do this on Profit as well with the Treants, and mTw, I keep on calling him Mikey because I see his Mikey's name to the right of it. But yeah, this mTw, he did his best to stop that. Unfortunately, was not able to. The bear just too tanky. So now Funzy will get levels. This is the power of that offlane lone druid. And this far back, sure, korok's getting free farm. But you're okay with the lone druid not getting as much farm, or you wouldn't put him here. Up tops, it's Sakshka up against Solara, and look how strong Shadow Strike is. Only a single point taken. Queen of Pain, especially in her safe lane, is definitely going to have the edge in this matchup. I saw it a lot in the East qualifiers for the International too, and pretty much, I want to say like 90% of the time, Queen of Pain was winning her lane, if not getting a first blood. And then you throw effing Mad's ability to show up for ganks at any moment with that Enigma. Solara's going to have to be very careful.
Right, real fast, look at the mid lane here. If you ever wonder how strong is a 50% slow from synderen, just look at Beastmaster's MS right now. He has 310 base, minus 134, and that's with 2 illusions going to be hitting on you from the disruption. That's going to be the poison sting damage, and of course a right click from the heroes. I mean, that's why this dueling combination is so strong, and that's why sometimes people regard that Venomous Gale at level 1 is like the most OP level 1 spell there is. That slow is just unparalleled.
Yeah, 15 seconds. I mean, it does decrease over time, but still, it's outrageous.
Now, the other thing I really want to mention is the fact that you brought out the ability for Funzy to get this pull going on, but a very interesting choice. You know that Quantic is going to be putting a lot of their eggs in this morphling basket? Is that? Yeah, that's correct. And that means that korok's going to be receiving a lot of ganks. And I'm not too sure whether you want to pair Funzy in the same lane. Like I mentioned earlier, Syllabear is a hero that don't offer you a lot of early game presence. He can't really defend a push. He might be able to join a push. He can't really fight until he get those level 5 and he could start proccing with a spear. But most likely, Morphling's gonna perhaps get a kill or two on Funzy. I'm not too sure whether you want Beastmaster to have that slow start. Now, strategically, they're gonna get a very fast start on Shastka. I mean, is that a fair trade though? Would you have to lane Would you have to lane it this way?
I don't know, because every time I see Funzy, I feel like every lone druid game of his I've cast, it's actually been this exact matchup he would have had. A windrunner in the suicide lane versus him in the safe lane, and he crushes that lane. That being said, who's going to have the better time bottom, the lone druid or the Queen of Pain? I have to say the lone druid, A, because of that creep load ability, and maybe you can do it once with your bear to start, help out the Queen of Pain, but generally you're not going to be able to do it all game. And B, you do have that extra tanky presence. It's very frustrating for support. Whereas in a 2v1 with mTw rotating in, you're going to get nothing on that Queen of Pain. Could easily sit at level 1. And I feel like the strategy here for mTw, they're willing to see a little bit less farm on the lone druid, as long as their mid-game gankers can get something going. Synderen going to go down to the tornado mid! Oh, there's your first blood. Great play by Last Hit Magic. This goes back to that Reddit meme. There was a post recently, how to win your lane on Dota 2. Take over Tornado as Enchantress or Chen, and hate-click it on an enemy hero. And it worked to perfection there. Did not catch any of the other action before that, but hopefully you did.
I definitely can't. It was the most baffling first blood I ever witnessed. I was like, Synderen, you're gonna get out, right? You're gonna get out, right? The boar was getting the slow in, the tornado was getting slow, and that double slow actually just killed Synderen outright. I think he was just not. He was underestimating the power of that tornado, and most pro player really. I mean, how annoying that really is, right? And that was a lane that was supposed to be unwinnable for Pain and Go. Of course, he didn't get the goal, but he got the experience, and that was a big boost I needed. And here comes a smoke gank. They want to dive past the tower. We've seen mTw, or we've seen Quantic do this dive so much, but little do they know, Funzy's right in their own jungle.
Well, you say little do they know, but they do have a ward.
Well, they do know. They have a ward, yeah. So
interesting that they chose to go for the backstab. They're expecting him to show back up in lane. In order for this gank to work, korok needs to push the lane, so expect to see him waveform in. Turn on that Ring of Basilius if it's not already, which it is, and then they'll be able to do the backstab. But this is a big and time investment. Last hit Magic could easily have gone for another camp or two. Synderen throws the Venomous Gale into Solara. Maybe he's going for the ward block there. He could have gotten one on the ramp, but unfortunately he was on cooldown. They're not done just yet. Effing mad as well. Speaking of big investments for ganks, this is a huge one, but the disruption, the Soul Catcher, Solara should be dead. Yeah, he just melts. That Soul Catcher way too strong. The backstab, they've been very patient waiting for this, and it looks like they're going to have a go here on Funzy. Funzy looking to be in a lot of trouble. Dark Troll Warlord leading the way. korok actually going on the offensive. Funzy correctly identifying the gank path. He's ready for his life, but a nice net, and he will go down. And a Windrunner for a lone druid. I think the Quantic will be quite happy with that trade, and now with that kill, they can go for a much stronger push than this Enigma.
And that's exactly what I mentioned. Is this the correct decision to put that lone druid on the bot lane? Quantic puts so much help, they give so much help to korok. You know the gank's gonna coming. You know the tower push is coming. This is a textbook lineup for Quantic, and I'm not too sure whether that is the correct decision. But as I say that, tier 1 is gonna go down for bot, and let's see if Quantic's gonna last. No, korok unfortunately didn't get the last hit. Vengeful did. Quick pair boots as well as upgrade and wards and whatever else. On the top lane, despite Solara having a really tough time, I mean, she's 4.5.
Oh, she might go down here. Oh, not going to go.
She's going to be fine. Queen of Pain not chasing him right now. But Shoutcast is getting level 6. Shoutcast definitely had the leeway to blink in and drop out Sonic Wave as well as Queen of Pain to get the kill. But so far, that's not what she's going for.
Yeah, Beastmaster Hawk up. Actually, I'm very interested to see how the Inner Beast is skill, or the Beastmaster is skilling. He's gone for 3 points to Call of the Wild. We'll have to see if he goes back to the Axes, or if he opts for some points to Inner Beast. As for the Venge, a single point in the aura taken. So obviously, Quantic is telling you that they value the importance and the power of those Rs. Even if they don't max them, a single point is pretty effective. Smoke up on effing Mad. He's level 6, has that black hole available. Looks like the supports are rotating in, but it will not be in time. The disruption in the middle of the black hole. Kabop, what are you doing? Panic Gold is going to live, and in fact, we might see a turnaround. Roar into Kabop. Huge blunder. Down he goes. The chase not over just yet. Effing Mad on the retreat. He will get away. You waste a black hole. You feed a kill. mTw have to be kicking themselves right now.
Or maybe specifically our Shadow Demon player is kicking himself. I mean, if that disruption wasn't there, that was just a free kill on a very easy to land Soul Catcher. Everything that could have went wrong for mTw. They're thankful they only lost one hero for that. Now, the black hole investment early on doesn't mean too much, because you know you're not going to have a team fight or where the black hole is going to be landing necessarily. But that also means the mana investment is where you're actually crying about, because he has to go all the way back to his base to get that mana. So in any case, it was a fair opportunity here for mTw, and Quantic kind of capitalized on that. So, I mean, earlier you favored Quantic's lineup, and I said they have to play it right. Well, if Synderen is going to feed you first blood, and I got to say that was a pure feed, because that shouldn't got the first blood, and if they're going to feed you kill like this, well, I got to say Quantic has a legitimate shot at winning this game because of the good start they have.
Well, in spite of that good start, it is a pretty big experience lead here for mTw, and that is the power of having the Enigma in your lineup. Who does farm a bit faster than the Chen, and also last hit Magic has been spending more time ganking. Well, actually, maybe he hasn't, but either way, they have a big experience lead. Funzy also farming the Ancients up here. Solara has been zoned out. He's going to be forced back to base. Has picked up boots and a bottle. No ferrying of that bottle, and you know this goes back to korok. It's a big investment towards him in every possible way. Not just the ganks, also the curry usage very highly prioritized, even more so than other teams' carries. And this is not a Pinoy team. We're not going to see any sort of multiple crows being purchased. So, hey, that forces the Windrunner to go back. It's a little bit more time for free farm on this Queen of Pain. And speaking of that Windrunner, Smoke Egg coming in, another Smoke Egg, no black hole, but they should not need it this time. Oh, no disruption, just the Soul Catcher. The ult comes in, down she goes. That's more like it.
That is a correctly executed push or gank by mTw.
Right.
Just because you have one of the best spell in the game doesn't mean you need to pop it every time. Kebab. In any case, that was just a mistake. People make mistakes. We're just giving a hard time for it. Back in the mid lane, the correct identification from Quantic. They do drop the roar. The Hawk giving sight. Synderen in big trouble. Can he drop off his ultimate before he dies? The Hawk the tornado being summoned. They do get the kill there. And looks like the mid tower in a little bit of danger. The Serpent Ward trying to destroy these creep waves or weaken it at the very least. Here comes a Terror and the right clicks are simply too much. I on the bottom here, korok teleporting out. This is one of the beauties of getting a bottle on a morphling because you could TP back, get all your healing, and then morph, back in lane, easily and get your full bottle and still right back in. Here comes korok. He's going on Funzy. Funzy not in his ultimate form. Gonna be taking some big damage. Will Funzy try to teleport out? Juking up to the north. He already cut the path here, but immediately being summoned. Korok's cooldown is gonna be done very soon. He does get the kill. Meanwhile, on the top lane though, we do see Queen of Pain getting that one for free. And that was on Solera again. Couple of teleport out for his team. And some unnecessary, some kills that wouldn't have gone to Quantic. Rightfully so because of the good TPs. So right now, 5-3 here. Who do you favor? Quantic or mTw?
You're trading a windrunner dying for a lone druid, and you're up against a morphling, and he's getting fed, and it's korok's morphling. This ain't any old morphling. It's one of the best, if not the best, in the world. You gotta favor Quantic in this situation. And again, mTw, they had the stronger lineup in the laning stage. Sure, Chen is great. Beastmaster, very powerful in the mid game. Vengeful Spirit, a nice ganker, but just sitting in your lanes, every hero on mTw can win a lane 1v1, or at least hold their own. They had the really strong dual lane mid, and that was a lane they should have crushed. They should have crushed that lane. Somehow synderen dies to a tornado. Yes, tornado is strong, but still, especially when you're getting farm in the mid lane, you shouldn't go down. They're going for gank or korok, and this is something they desperately need, but unfortunately that level 4 morph just a bit too strong. Replicate is popped, and even if they try to make a go, he can always replicate out. He will escape, and that's a bit of a failed gank. Not the biggest deal. Sakshka can look to rotate mid as they make a go, and Painted Gold roar onto synderen. Painted Gold might go down here. Black Hole only on Mikey. Can't be cancelled, but that's not really the best Black Hole. Last hit Magic obliges by running into it, but they're just going to back off. Vengeful Spirit might go down or get denied. Actually, mTw going to go for the TP out.
Oh,
could have been denied.
Could have been denied. Yeah, last hit Magic could have easily denied that. Here comes Korok. We've spoken about past. He's not shy to TP in as a carry and try to pick up some kills. Malefice is on top of his space, but we'll be fine. Meanwhile, though, look at Funzy. Immediately sees that someone has teleported out. He's going to go for the tower. Here comes the deny hip temp here. Not going to be getting it. And is he going to get any procs? If he's going to get any procs, Painted Ghost is going to be absolutely dead. He passes boots. He passes boots. Not too sure. The board being summoned. Micro him back on the bear. He's even going to try to go on the bear. Not going to get that kill, obviously, but well done here by Funzy, realizing Morphling has left and immediately taking full advantage of it, taking down a tier 1 tower, getting his team some gold, because they do need it. This is not the standard mTw squad that pushes down so many towers. They actually have a little bit, difficulty in getting tower. In fact, mTw is completely even with Quantic on tower count. Here comes Shaska. Is he going to be using his blink shackle shot? Is he going to be latching? That's a question. Shaska is going to drop a new... Shaska's going to take the fight, unfortunately. Solera just have to back off.
Oh, bottom lane, Funzy back in that rage form, keeps him getting caught out of it, and he's going to go down here for sure. As I say that, he's dropping low, he will die. He's trying to rush a relic, and I feel like this is the point in the game where you have to reevaluate that decision, or at least reevaluate where you're farming on the map. Of course, top lane is pushed, mid lane is not the best place for Lone Druid to farm. It goes back to that laning decision, but I think this is that point where, forget about the laning decision. Now you need to make some adjustments. You can't keep on dying, because there's no way that a Queen of Pain is going to outcarry a Morphling with the way things are going. They're going to need that Lone Druid to provide that tanky DPS, be in the front lines, push down these towers. As I say that, mTw looking to finally claim a tower advantage. Going on to mid, I believe this mid a deny will be forced. No glyph is available. Will they get there in time? Nice. Actually, Blasting Magic does get denied. Really nice job by him. Sakshka with an Invis in the front lines here, looking to make a go. Little does Painted Gold, no, but Sakshka very low on Mana. Malefice to start. Scream is available. Oh, nice. Nice job there with the Soul Catcher. The Roar, the Shackle Shot on FP Mad to a creep. Oh, and down he goes. Look at the power shot. Korok in the middle of the fray, just like a Spectre, joining the fight from afar with that replicant. And Sakshka in a lot of trouble, but he will be able to blink out. Kabot may be the casualty of war here. Are they going to find him? What a TP! There was 2 trees and they blocked it off. They did it at Vision. That Beastmaster Hawk not in the area. Nice escape there. After all is said and done, an Enigma for Beastmaster. That's a pretty even trade. And they get the tower was denied, but they get a little bit of map control. So I'm going to say that was an even trade overall.
It was an even trade, but I didn't like the fact that Quantic took the fight. I mean, of course, they don't have observer vision, and they wouldn't see the Queen of Pain being invisible there. But a team that has pushed down your tier 1 tower and it's just suspiciously staying around. Generally, when enemy team push down tier 1 tower, especially when they're low HP like that, it's time to back off, correct? But they just, you know, the Dire Squad just hung around and hung around. That's when you kind of ask yourself, why the hell are they hanging around when they're not that high HP? And of course, invisible Queen of Pain was there, and they punished for it. Now, of course, Big Korok TP in and grabbed the kill, and we saw some clutch TPs from the Dire Squad to limit the amount of the depth that they had. But still, it was overall a Quantic victory. Morphling's getting bigger and bigger. Has bottled. I think the Ghost Scepter is being delivered very soon, right? It has been purchased on the curve. And that's suddenly at the point of the game that you're not really even afraid of that entangle anymore, because you ever get entangled, you can easily strength morph, or you have a Ghost Scepter to bail yourself out, and we're one step closer to that big bash shotgun. I mean, when Morphling gets his shotgun, that's when really the game begins for Quantic.
Yes, it's sort of the clock is ticking here. Sochka working what looks to be it's got to be a sheep stick, right? I can't really imagine anything else. If he can get that up in a reasonable time frame, it's going to be close. But I mean, even when Morphling is shotgun, if you hex him, especially if he's heavily agility morphed and he's not able to strength morph back, you can burst him down. So that hex is going to be a real key to the game for them. We actually haven't had a chance to talk about item progressions at all. Let's take a quick look here. Not much on the side of Quantic. They do have a mech up on the chen, a lot of basic items, but no real big item progressions. Phase boots on the windrunner. I mean, everyone's getting some farm for Quantic, but they are a bit behind if you look at the gold graph. Synderen, Signal, Vitality Boost, or Arcane Boost. No big team items, however, for him. And I mentioned the Queen of Pain working towards that sheep stick as I hear a Malefice going off, but yeah, not going to amount to anything. And Mechanism for Effie Mad. This is really bad. I mean, honestly, when I see Effie Mad on Enigma, he usually has an incredibly fast Mechanism. He's being denied. It goes back to the smoke ganks early on. He got a couple of kills, but not farming quite as much as he would like.
Yeah, to me, the most important item pickup here for Quantic is going to be that mech. Look at the lineup here we have on the Dire. It's a Venomancer ultimate. It's a Queen of Pain that do some burst damage. It's Enigma Black Hole. They are so dependent on damage, and that mech cuts in that damage so much. And that's going to make Quantic a lot more survivable. You can see that Quantic offensively trying to push down on tier 2. They ultimately didn't get the tower, but the fact that they're willing to go so deep in enemy territory against the syllabear TP, against a Queen of Pain TP, just shows how confident they are in this stage game because of the mech, because of the possibility of Hannah God. And of course, Quantic Morphling had a replicate following the team, so he could have won in any time. Now the Morphling replicate went out, so that's why the team's backing off. But it just shows you that Quantic understand that they have a lead and they want to press for it a little bit. I do like the fact that Mikey's on the bot lane, or excuse me, Mayshrum's gonna get us a little bit of the EXP on the bot lane. Not enough teams do this. Vengeful Spirit, especially if you're going for the aura build, you need that Vengeful aura. You want the How, of course, for the minus armor as well. So it's really important for her to hit level 11 to get the high level swap as well. And I'm glad they're giving her some level, and she's, of course, last sitting like a pro player would, and going to be getting some threats and some key items. Again, we don't see enough teams do this, and I really feel like they should.
Yeah, for Quantic, it really is all about the levels. Windrunner needs to max out the Shackle Shot and the Windrun if she wants to be able to survive versus a hero like Syllabear. Speaking of that Syllabear, that's the other clock that's ticking right now. It's not only the Hex and the Queen of Pain, it's also this Relic on Funzy. It's not the fastest Relic in the world. In fact, it's very slow, especially for him. But it's not far away in spite of that. He could have a Radiance by 20 minutes at the rate he's farming. And with that Radiance up, they're not going to be able to just bully down these towers because they aren't fighting from the kind of advantage they're accustomed to. But they may be able to get a pick here or there, go for Roshan. And if they get those picks, Roshan will drop very quickly. Syllabear, one of the better heroes to take him down, especially once the Relic is up. So I feel like Quantic, yes, they're doing well. They're making all the right moves. But mTw, there's still the threat of that timing push. Even if they don't get racks, they can start to strangle Quantic out just a touch, especially if they get those key items. And Korok being so aggressive. I love the way he plays his Morphling. A lot of Morphlings just farm when they have this kind of advantage, if they have an easy lane. Korok not only farms, he also bullies his lane opponent. Not just in the early laning stage, but even here in the mid-game when he's laning up against that Quap.
Yeah, both teams, what we're seeing right now is just farm trading, and both teams has reason to actually just trade farm. Of course, Morphling waiting for the shotgun, Syllabear waiting for that Relic. I think Matt trying to set up a gank with his teammate. Here comes Kebab as well. And it looks like Vengeful Spirit will get the gank. The Islands get summoned right from the get-go. There is a Malefice, and I do believe Vengeful Spirit is going to be done. Let's see if it's going to be any good swaps. No, the damage is going to be too much. The Purge damage on top as well. Trying to do as much damage to the Enigma is going to be his plan, but unfortunately didn't pay off. Good roaming, good smoke gank being set up. Arguably, Quantic should be doing that instead. They have the better gankers. They have a Venge, they have a Beastmaster. But it was Enigma and I guess Kebab just roaming out to get the ganks. Back in the mid lane here, Queen playing so aggressive as well. I think mTw is having the right plan. They gotta find room for Funzy to farm. You can see the Creepilibrium somewhat pushed, so he can only go into the Ancient. But the best thing you could do in that situation is get the ganks, and that's exactly what we saw in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's a very passive sort of stage of the game where both teams are trying to farm up their core items and get the levels. Speaking of the levels, Syllabear still not hitting level 9. I feel like he's the one who's suffering a bit here. He got ganked a bunch top, and since then, it's not just the gank, it's also the fact that he just hasn't had a great place to farm. He did have to participate in a couple of those early fights, and he did a good job helping out the team, but he's definitely a hero that needs to catch up. If you're the same level as a solo, when you're a solo as a dual lane Shadow Demon, a roaming Shadow Demon, that's not a great place to be. Synderen, speaking of those big item pickups, he's working towards the pipe. He's about to have the hood up, still a ways to go, but I think that's really going to be the time when mTw is going to start to get aggressive, even if it's just tower pushes. As I say, that swap on the Synderen, Magic Missile, nice defensive disruption. Well, maybe not so nice because now there's a ton of Centaurs here. The ult gets dropped, he melts to the axes. Demonic Purge on the Painted Gold, bit of a waste, not going to amount to anything. And korok maybe in some trouble. Mad is smoked up, they want to kill korok. We'll have to see how the Replicant is micro during this time. If they can't completely lock him down, they're not going to give it at all. Malefice actually not able to hit that. He is going to Malefice the Black Hole. No, the Hand of God. I don't think they're going to have enough damage here. Queen of Pain ulti available. It's dropped. korok, he can replicate out. He's actually turning around with Shotska. He's going to get the kill. And he's still got the Replicant if he needs it. He doesn't. In fact, now it's the Enigma who's got to run for his life. Oh, that's the problem with giving korok even an inch. I mean, you said I'll take a mile. I think he might just take 24 and make it a marathon. The push now commencing up top. Painted Gold in position with a hood of his own, working towards a pipe, and he's closer than mTw. Where's that Syllabear is the question. He's about to join the party. Malefice on the Painted Gold. Sent back to base. He will get away. And that's the defensive power of the Chen and Axe. And mTw may be the victim here.
Where are you going, my friend? You had the free TP. I think he still can TP out. And he's going to try to Malefice, going to come off cooldown, and she's going to get TP, not going to get this one off. But fighting time for Syllabear. You said she was level 8, now level 10, pressuring the tier 2. Everybody on both teams making the smart play. I gotta just talk about that morphling play though. Only korok would do something like that. You're getting ganked by 2, Sonic Wave, Black Hole dropped on you. Not only do you survive, you go for the kill. Most players, when they say, oh man, I survived that, let's just replicate it out. But korok always looking for the kill. And he got that one. And of course that will slow down the Hex, which is going to be very important for his future survival. korok going to be checking the top rune. And he's so close for that shotgun. He is also having that adaptive strike already maxed up. So he's going to be looking to get a lot more kills.
No, it's not really a great position here for mTw. They picked a really strong pushing lineup. I mean, it's not just the Enigma, the Syllabear. It's also that Venomancer. And I feel like synderen's Venomancer is really the story of this game. Normally such a dominant, effective player. Has not gotten a whole lot accomplished. And look how much mTw is devoting just to killing off that Replicant, trying to deny korok his mobility. They get it, but it takes a lot of effort from both heroes. And I mean, you mentioned the Hex being delayed of Queen of Pain. I think that's really the most important thing. Not the gold that went towards korok, but the fact that the Hex is delayed. We saw in that last gank, they didn't have perfect initiation. korok had a chance to waveform waste, pop the Strength Morph, get that Replicant moving the opposite direction. And without the Hex, he's going to have a lot of opportunities like that. And that was on his own. When you factor in the windrunner being available, with the Force Staff that's soon to come online, the Chen heals, the Holy Persuasion. How do you kill this guy? I mean, really, how are you going to do it when the mid-game hits? You might get down these outer towers. It's going to be very hard to go beyond that.
And looks like the courier already well on his way to the secret shop to buy that Eagle Song. korok's going to have his EB and his piercing down a tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, his teammate pushing down for tier 2. I mean, before this tower was taken down, I was checking the gold and EXP chart. Ironically, it was mTw that was leading in both departments, and they're going to secure themselves the Roshan advantage. Synderen's got 4 wards down. Those wards, they will stack them damage, even though not doing too much individually. Morphling is coming back in, and looks like we're going to have a big engagement. Unfortunately, mTw does not know that Morphling just picked up the shotgun, and they're going to be in a rude awakening as that will happen. Of course, Mad doesn't have a blink just yet. The Black Hole is going to be casted. Blink on the low ground here. Mikey perhaps in a little bit of trouble. They shotgun down Enigma, and he's been big. Oh no, synderen's going to go down as well. Hand of God keeping everyone healthy. Shotska looking forward to get something. Ooh, nice blink just on the high ground there. But with that engagement, I do believe Quantic will get into the Roche Pit. And if korok gets the Aegis, this game is Almost over. The bear coming in to get a little bit harassed. Here comes Shotsuka as well. Gotta be very careful. She eats a stun. She's gonna go down. Wow, what a decision made by mTw. Bears gets resummoned. Queen of Pain buys back immediately. They don't want Quantic to get this Aegis. I think even with the suicide and the death, they have prevented that. It was an expensive cost.
Oh, entangle on korok. It's not done yet. Sakshika blinks in. Finally, korok is out of mana, but hey, that's what the Chen is for. As I say that, he's out of mana too. Can't send him back to base. What Centaur micro here by last hit magic. He is really making magic happen. That Centaur stomp. I want to go back to that last fight. That set everything up. The Centaur stomp into the shotgun. If the Centaur micro wasn't there, Enigma maybe could have moved back just a touch or popped the black hole. But with that effective Centaur micro, it just made everything impossible for Enigma. And this is a situation where you want that BKB, but you can't really go for one. It's not going to answer your problems anyway, and you don't have the farm to do it. Windrunner goes down. They are going to get the Roshan. They're not done just yet. Well, actually they are, because that's korok. You're not killing him by yourself. But they get the Aegis.
Got picked up by Queen of Pain. It looked really bad for mTw, but this is a team that did win the West qualifier. Key buyback being saved by Shotsuka. He does it with just about every hero, especially his aggressive Tinker. But yeah, the buyback save, he got it. He got the buyback, immediately came back here, and effing Matt's gonna get roared. Where's the backup? Here comes Big Back korok, and he's doing it perfectly. Where's the adaptive strike? Already used it here. Well, do we have a black hole? Yes, we will. Beastmaster should be the hero of choice. They want korok, and they're not gonna get korok. I felt like they should have focused on Beastmaster. Here comes effing Matt disruption here on the morphling. Not gonna accomplish to me. The waveform comes and gets yet another kill. He's strength morphing. He's got the pipe. He's gonna be absolutely fine. Beastmaster still very healthy. Pipe was already using that engagement. No more roar. The hawk somewhere in the air. The boar has died in engagement. Painted Go should be backing off right now. Hand of God gets popped. Mecha on cooldown as well. I think this is time for Quantic to get back, but as I say that, they're staying in the fight. They want more. They see synderen. They blow up on synderen. Synderen very, very tanky because a lot of strength already went into, a lot of agility already went into morph. For the morphling here, Painted Go trying to put out. He make it. He's gonna make it. Clutch TP. Solaire is gonna just windrun out. No proccing. Very rarely here. Shackle Shot gonna latch on two here. Unfortunately, Radiant Spear Chase a little bit too strong. I can't believe this, but mTw are winning these fights after Shotgun is up for morphling.
You call it luck. I call it, or you call it a whatever you call it, a timely TP. I call it a lucky one because that bear was wailing away on him. But in the end, whether it's luck or not, he does get away. That is a very important escape for Painted Gold. Just to prevent, because if two heroes go down there, you're losing your mid tier too. But with only one dead, that's not going to be enough. So that TP actually making a big difference. You're right, they're winning these fights, but what are they actually getting out of the fights? They do have a venomancer who's getting close to that pipe. The vitality booster really slowed him down. They have a syllabear with the radiance up and 1,000 gold. But is there another item that this team can build that's suddenly going to turn the tides of the game? BKB on Enigma not going to be the answer. You're up against a Roaring Swap.
Hex on Queen of Pain would.
That could be. That could be the difference maker. But aside from that, I don't see anything else. And they're not getting tier 2 towers. That would be the other big claim, the big prize for winning a team fight. But the thing is, they're winning fights. They're not doing so convincingly. And crucially, they're not killing korok. And we've seen these in these fights. He can absolutely give effing mad. He's going to make a go, but he's not agility morphed enough to actually kill him off. 31 strikes, still being held in reserve. So just a little bit of harassment. He could make another go here soon. I feel like it's mTw who's in a lot of trouble.
They're waiting for his teammate to get in here. Effing Man doesn't have to blink. In fact, he's going to be going into Chen, of course, is fake. As we do see it, I'm pretty sure the enemy team does realize as well, as it's just right-clicked onto Painted Go. In any case, I mean, you're talking about that the mTw squad is not getting any advantage. I feel the same for Quantic. They're not getting too much advantage. Morphling Shotgun, I mean, that's their biggest DPS nuke, but they're not getting any kill. Lucas Synderen gonna have a hood and Vit booster. Effing Mad just took that nuke. No problem. He has mech, he has Ogre Club and Strength Shreds. Shotsuka, even though he's the lowest HP in his team, he's got the Aegis, so he doesn't care. You're not going to Syllabear, and of course, Kebab would never be out of position because his job is to stay back and disrupt his teammate when necessary. I feel like the shotgun is not a end-all-be-all kind of thing. Generally, it is, especially on korok. He's going to get such a big advantage. He is going to be going for a Manta style, which I believe it is the correct choice, as we see initiation on Kebab. Just as said that he needs to be in correct position. He is a little bit out of it, and he is going to get picked off here. Yeah, I think Manta is going to be the perfect choice. It dispels things like the Malefice. I think it does. It dispels the poison from Synderen as well as the poison from Queen of Pain, it just spells so much things. And of course, it adds agility, it gives you more stats. It's almost a perfect item for Korok. Korok sees a couple of guys. Again, he's going to try to shotgun people, but he really can't. The correct thing he should be doing is getting a couple of right clicks in, and that is exactly what he's doing right now. Synderen survives that, drops off a couple of nuke at him. Korok doesn't want to go in. He can strength morph, and instead he's going to just get the hell out there. Gonna go back in base and get a little bit more HP. He is taking some from the poison, but he should be fine. Meanwhile, tier 2 gets destroyed. Just to say that Quantic's not getting too much, they are gonna get something right now.
Well, this is one of the other benefits to getting a morphling big this early on, is that he puts so much pressure on the opposing team that they can't deal with them alone. They need backup. I mean, maybe the syllabear can stand toe-to-toe with him, but that's a big maybe, and it's gonna change soon once that next item is completed. As I say that, syllabear going in, hoping, praying for that big entangle, not going to find it. But that really frees up the rest of Quantic. We saw them pushing down mid. They get a tier 2 tower, and you need that venomancer enigma there if you want to hold. I guess my concern for mTw, the reason I feel like they're in a bit of trouble here, they're pretty reliant on their ultimates. Queen of Pain, enigma, venomancer. Yes, you might not get a big black hole. Oh, Funzy gets shackled up, and it looks like he go down the centaur, even aiding here in the fight. But the entangle of the Solara, the Hand of God coming out, and Funzy in a lot of trouble. Swap into a stun. Great play by mTw, showing that while Mikey may be the standard support player for Quantic, mTw can certainly fill in well. What a play there. That swap was just icing on the cake, and this syllabear, I mean, this is not a normal Funzy syllabear game. He's normally the one getting the kills, being the bully, not the one who's getting caught out time and again. And I mean, the question is, why is he getting caught out? And it goes back to that beastmaster pick, the Hawk, just giving you so much vision, as well as those early towers that Quantic claimed. It really limits your map control.
I think it goes back further than that, the laning decision to put him on the bot. I mean, he definitely is well equipped to handle that bot lane, but the ganks that pushed as it came, and he had no room to farm. He was ancient creeping 10 minutes in the game, and that's generally what you don't want your syllabear to do. You want him to get those juicy creeps in the lane. Korok continue to get big, already level 18. Manta's completed at this point, and not only do you have to worry about his killing power, he suddenly will become one of the best pushers in the game, and he's doing just that, tier 2 on bot. I really love the decision for Panico to pick up the Blink Dagger. We saw it used on the top lane. It wasn't the best chain stun because Roar and Shackle Shot, definitely wasn't used properly. But in any case, it got the kill, and it was all thanks to that Blink Dagger. And suddenly in the next team fight, I don't care if you're staying far back, Kebab, you're going to get targeted, or I feel like he should be targeted. He should be the choice. Meanwhile, on the bot lane here, Shotgun picks off the Aegis from Queen of Pain. That wouldn't matter too much because the Aegis was running out anyways, but, the Hex is finished though, and that's the important thing here for the Queen of Pain.
Painted Gold. Speaking of positioning, he went for a deep jungle gank, and he's going to pay for a Shackle Shot, not going to let. Painted Gold goes down to that Soul Catcher, so much damage, and that is one tool they do have to help bring down Korok. If they can land a good Soul Catcher, that will make even a Morphling melt quite quickly. Hex onto Korok. He's not strength morphing. Will they get the stun? No, the defensive swap. Great play by mTw. Also sent back to base. The defensive firepower. Quantic. Disruption cancel the TP. Great micro of the Centaurs. Not going to be enough. Really, both teams are playing quite well. Yes, they're making mistakes, but overall the level of play in this game very high. A big difference. I mean, a world of difference from those qualifier or those group stage games we're seeing with the BYOC teams. There's a reason why teams like Quantic, as well as mTw, got the invites to this tournament, and they're showing it today.
As we see Solara taking the last take of that Malefice, the blink in. Do we have the Hex? It's cooling down. He has the Hex. Gonna be using it right now. Solara in big trouble. Support coming in. Do we have the mech? Yes, we do. The Holy Persuasion online soon. Hand of God is available as well. But here comes Korok, and it's time to back off. He's gonna be jumping forward. I don't think he should. Yeah, gonna be saving it as an escape path if necessary. mTw did have a selfless swap there, but perhaps arguably that might have been a mistake. Korok was gonna survive for a long time. You know he is because he's a Morphling. But you never want to be, you want to be safe than sorry. So he went for the swap, sacrificed his own life to make sure that Korok TP'd out, and he did. And you'd rather always lose Avenge than a Morphling.
Yeah,
so
better safe than sorry. I mean,
Yep.
when you have a Morphling this big, you don't want to take any chances because if he dies, he's already level 18. He's dead for a long time, and that Roshan, it's coming up pretty soon. Even if Korok was up before Roshan, the amount of map control they could seize, they could really push out the creep waves, and that makes it a lot harder for Quantic to contest that Roshan. So I mean, I think the swap was fine, but you're right. It was used very early, and Morphling's so difficult to pick off. Painted Gold is gone for a Blink Dagger. So I mean, you talked a lot of, I forget which support you were talking about, but whichever one of these, Kebab. I mean, whichever one of these many heroes that are looking to be in safety and sort of in the back lines. Now they have another tool to get immediately into the fray. how is Enigma going to get off a black hole this game? It's never going to happen. I mean, it wasn't going to happen before, but certainly not now.
A lot of viewers and casters get juked into believing that Enigma's a black hole, and he does give you that opportunity. But a lot of teams use him as a pusher, and he really is a great pusher. His stun is actually quite relevant. I mean, especially the awkward way that it does stun.
Oh, I completely agree with you. But we're past that point of the game where Enigma's pushing.
Yeah,
it's a huge force.
We're definitely past that point. And, I mean, he's got the BKB, so he could, you know... One of the things that I do love about Enigma, again, a lot of viewers are juked into not realizing that, is the fact that when a BKB Enigma runs at you, he might not get the black hole off. But the effect of that, just the fact that he's running at you, is very, very scary.
Right, yeah.
And guess what you're going to do? You're going to just back off, or you're going to try to roar and kill him, but he's got the BKB, so he's quite tanky in that nature. Top lane, though, Shasuka is in big... Nice defensive disruption. Guess what? Your roar is now gone, because he can blink out. Valve, please, fix this disruption. This is too OP. It's not supposed to be happening, or it wasn't in Dota 1. And I'm not sure if it was intended to for Dota 2. Kebab, uh-oh. Blink Beastmaster's chasing after you. He's quite far away. The blink, though, 14-second cooldown. The roar has already been used, but so it's going to be fine.
Well,
yeah, that disruption is not the way it's supposed to be. At least not to me. It's too strong.
Well, all that aside, the shackle shot hit and then the roar at the same time. You mentioned the improper chain stunning previously, and they did it again there. It was a fantastic shackle shot from Syllabear, but the roar was stacked on top of it. So even if disruption is removing it, which I'm not sure, it felt like it might have been a second, and then you have the 2.5 seconds on disruption. There's your 3.5. So I'm not sure if it's actually moving, but either way, we have a big fight about to bring out Shackle onto Kebab to start this fight. Korok can melt him. He does melt him. Aegis gets claimed. A single Shadow Demon, not the worst thing to give up. Queen of Pain does get the Aegis. They also get the last hit. Everything looking pretty solid here for mTw. Hand of God coming in. Black Hole immediately canceled. Great positioning by mTw once again. Aegis is popped. Painted Gold. Now, this fight is so chaotic, but it looks like Funzy is being bullied away. Where's the morphling? Korok on the retreat out. They're not done just yet. They're continuing to go on Funzy. Even a roar being dropped here, but this is that time where Painted Gold may be a bit in no man's land. Are they going to make the turnaround? Looks like Painted Gold will get caught out, will go down. So it's a 2-for-1 here and an Aegis. I guess that's pretty even. Maybe slightly in Quantic's favor.
Yeah, Aegis was used here by the Queen of Pain almost immediately. Kebab got meltdown in the beginning. The biggest thing for me in that team fight was Solera's double damage. Everybody ignored her, and of course, she had focus fire, and she was just going on town with that DD on. Picked off a Kebab with the help of Morphling very quick. Went on the BKB Enigma like it was MP, because it really was. He had the BKB. So in any case, Solera, to me, was the true winner of that fight. Of course, Morphling got a couple of kills. And Solera getting level 16, we talked about how he had a tough game early on. Now he's right back. Of course, great play here by Mikey getting swapped to cancel that black hole. It channeled just for a split second. And Morphling, back to that form. We haven't talked too much about it, but he's got almost 300, well, 260, 370. And that's off aggressive ganking. It's not like he's just been AFK farming like ZSMJ. He's in every fight. So that's like way more impressive than most people will give him credit for.
Yeah, like you said, it's not the highest creep score in the game, but what's more important is that he's putting a lot of pressure on mTw. He was doing it from a pretty early
It is highest creep score in the game for Korok.
Well, no, I mean, it's not like the highest anyone's ever seen from Morphling at this point. But, you know, he is leading the way in terms of farm, as well as being 9-0. And I feel like for mTw, you got the Aegis, that's great. You got a little bit more gold into your banks, but what is the next step for them? How are they going to go high ground? I mentioned it about 10 minutes ago. Maybe 5 minutes ago, and I still don't see the answer. Effing Mad is never going to get that black hole off unless Quantic makes some sort of huge blunder. This is the time of the game where maybe you have to look to get creative, go for a smoke gank, try and bait a hero, do something to catch Quantic out of position, hope that they make a mistake, because otherwise korok continues to get big, and he's looking very close to that Eye of Skady, and a Morphling with 3 tier 4 items. That's the point where he becomes almost unkillable and the biggest damage dealer in the game by far.
I mean, this is where you say, hey, Syllabear got 12 slot, right? Let's go late.
I think that's wishful thinking, Lumi.
I really think so it is. And anyone that says Syllabear best late game carry because he got 12 slot, you're lying to yourself. Because that bear ain't tanky at all. In any case, though, Korok is very tanky and farming so aggressively. He has those replicate out so he can feel safe. He's got the Manta so he doesn't really care. A little bit of known trivia and why Morphling is one of the more broken spell, and I'm not sure whether this is fixed or intended for Dota 2. You could if you're strength morphing, nothing stops you. Think of anything in Dota, nothing stops you. Not a chronosphere, not a silence, not a stun, not a black hole. Doom does not stop you from strength morphing. Is that intended? Is that too OP? I think so, Valve. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, Ice Frog, we appreciate your insight in this game. They wanted to make a go on Korok. They had 3 heroes down bottom, but, I mean, the damage is a bit lacking here. Solara, nice shackle onto Soxka. The blink in for Painted Gold. Out of nowhere comes a roar. Soxka goes down. Does he have buyback? No buyback. Just bought an Ogre Club. Not sure Quantic realized that, and they're probably content to continue to farm. But this is an opening for them if they want to do some damage to a tower, get all the lanes pushed out at the very least. They can do so, and hey, the Blink Dagger paying off for the Beastmaster. Without that, at the very least, Queen of Pain would have lived and might have been able to turn that around.
Quantic, the real shark in the water, the jaw theme music in the background as he is looking for kills. Doesn't see any heroes, so he's going to go on the creeps instead, although he might get ganked. As I say that, he's going to replicate out and be fine. Now, what we see here, Queen of Pain is going to be going for that Axe Scepter after the Hex. In standard games, he's going to go Axe Scepter first and then back to Hex, so this game was a little bit awkward in that sense. How do you think the Axe Scepter will kind of change the game around? Will it change the game around? I mean, it's a 40-second cooldown nuke, which you might be thinking it's not going to do too much, but these fights been lasting for a while, so I mean, in theory, he could get off 2 Sonic.
Here's the problem for me with that. You have no way to survive if they use any one of their many initiations effectively on you. If you get roared, if you get magic missiled, if Korok goes on you and gets the burst damage off, or, God forbid, you get shackled, I think you're just dead. They have enough damage to lock you down. You don't have a Chen to send you back unless you see some sort of counter-initiation 5-man black hole. I just don't see how you survive, so it's a nice idea in theory, but I'm not sure it'll work. And even if Korok doesn't kill you, the amount of damage he does is going to force you to back off. So, I mean, to me, this is one of those... I don't know that there was a better item. That's the other thing. I mean, I think Enigma gives you a little bit of everything. It's got the nice build-up. You can buy part of it and still have money for buyback, although Sakshka didn't. But, I mean, what would you even get instead? Damage? You're not going to be allowed to right-click. BKB, they can cancel that with the roar. Or they can disable that. But I think BKB might have been better. Because if nothing else, it forces them to waste a roar if they want to lock you down. It also saves you from the shotgun. A lot of the Chinese players love BKB on their Queen of Pain, even as a first item, but definitely as a second to initiate.
You mentioned that taboo word. Anytime Chinese is mentioned on Luminous' stream, nope, no
well,
good.
It wasn't you, it was me.
It was, okay, it was you, so it's all good, yeah, man. Any case, I'm not sure, I mean, BKB in normal cases, I feel like it will be the best item, but there's a big morphling. He can definitely keep up with you. With Waveform and now the Scotty Slow, so I'm not sure whether BKB is the correct choice. I was thinking perhaps Lincoln Sphere, but there's so many single targets done that they're going to easily pierce through that. BKB gets through the war, I mean, you can swap through it. Yeah, it feels like there's just no correct item. If you want to get really creative, there's a Refresh Orb. I mean, you get 2 Hex off in a team fight, that's actually quite relevant. But yeah, I just don't feel like any single item is enough to turn this game around. They need Funzy to get unbelievably tanky, and he's really not getting there.
Well, you said 12 inventory slots. He's got 2 of those 12 filled out with some pretty strong late game items, but 10 items to go, 40 minutes.
He's got a magic wand. That's pretty strong too. So hey, there's 3.
In order to fill these 10, I reckon he'll need about 60 to 80 minutes at the least, and that's without dying, without any big team fights. Not sure you're going to get that, and even if he gets them, I mean, Lodrit is a melee carry. You're not going to sit in range for him late game, and he can be kited, especially by a Morphling who's got an Eye of Skady. Also, you don't normally go for BKB on this hero, so yes, you can avoid, you know, Roar would still go through it, but they have so many other ways to lock you down, which you're not blocking, and that's why Lone Druid generally isn't played as a late game parry. He's played as sort of a mid-game timing push hero, somewhat like a Shadow Fiend, although Shadow Fiend scales a bit better in the late game. With, you know, all 12 item theory crafting aside, but enough discussion of that. Korok is going high ground, forcing back a bunch of TPs. This is why Morphling is, you know, played so much, just like an anti-mage. He can split push like none other. Down low, it looks like Funzy is going to get away, but Korok really wants this kill. He's chasing so far. He doesn't have Replicant available. Funzy going to go for the TP out. If Korok finds him, he's dead. He's not going to. Any entangle helps ensure his survival. Man, that was a long TP. He TP'd to a tower with a couple of allies. That could have been disastrous. Painted Gold gets caught out, pops the pipe. Will he roar? He's looking to roar. He gets Hex. He still can't get it off. He's going to go down. Nice Queen of Pain ultimate. They get 1 kill, but it's only a Beastmaster, and with all the lanes being pushed this far, they're not really going to make too much out of this.
I mean, that was a good fight for Quantic, for mTw. They got a tier 2 basically for free. Of course, the TP was eventually forced, but they didn't get a tier 3, and tier 3 suffered a lot of damage, to be fair. But Beastmaster got picked off. Quantic can't be too sloppy. Again, mTw didn't win the West qualifier, you know, as a joke. They're that good. If you give them some leeway, they will try to win the game, and look exactly what mTw is doing. It might not be the biggest advantage 5v4, especially with Morphling alive, But they're gonna pressure a tower, and meanwhile Morphling doing the same thing. He's got the DT.
Wow, look at korok.
I thought.
Oh boy.
Hold up. Didn't he manta? Doesn't that dispel the DE?
No, that's only in Dota 1, I believe. In Dota 2, it does not. I believe you've complained about this before, so more cannon fodder for Lumi, who seems to have an endless list of things he finds info. korok racks his bottom for free and replicates out. Oh, if you're
I think the cutest thing was Shadow Demon trying to TP back, and he lasted about half a second on his own base before he got obliterated by the biggest shotgun I've ever seen. And wow, korok's decision just to backdoor the base like that. It's again, a lot of people is going to keep out backdoor, and how ungentleman-like it is. Hey, racks is racks, and they got the racks, and suddenly the game is, you know, you said it was hard for Quantic, or excuse me, for mTw. I don't see them winning the game after this now.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're just saying, oh, I don't see them winning because Morphling's big. It's really, how do you win a fight against this Quantic lineup? The Morphling is unkillable. I mean, he was really hard to kill before when they had a great smoke gank from Enigma. Just one slight misstep, he turns that around for a kill. Now he's got 2 more massive items and a Helm of the Dominator and 3,500 gold in the bank. With the replicate up in a team fight, he can use that to get away. If he somehow, by some stroke of fate, mTw kill him off, korok will probably buy back and replicate right back in. Maybe even sell his boots of his power trades and then buy boots of travel, do that as well. Plus the Chen can send him back, the Chen heal, the mech. I mean, we've talked a lot about the defensive capabilities, and I know we're treading over ground that we've already covered before, but hey, it bears repeating. It's not just the Morphling, it's the entire lineup. It was built to protect him and get him a good start, and now in the mid to late game, it's built to keep him alive and ensure that he gets heroes locked down, that he can pick them off. I don't even see how they can get a single pick.
I mean, it's easy to say that Quantic's winning right now. Paint me a scenario that mTw somehow wins a fight and perhaps stage a comeback. Is there any way?
I mean, if you catch a hero without buyback, that's certainly a good way to start. Or if you catch a hero out.
Use HP very rapidly. That's going to be a pickup. They're right in the row spot. Here we go. Black Hole's going to be used before effing Matt's dying. They're going to focus on korok. Of course, his strength morphing, so no big deal. Hand of God comes in right now. Effing Matt just limps his way out. He's fine. Alright, so they're winning this fight.
Well, korok went back to base. I'm not sure the Chen needed to do that. I think he could have stayed around a bit longer. He manted out of that, but unfortunately, with korok not here, this is the fight they wanted. I mean, if they, you know, one way to go about it is to pick off korok. That's pretty difficult to do, but if you can kill off the supporting cast, that gives you an opening. Is there buyback in Quantic? It doesn't look like anyone has it. That's an Aegis and a Cheese. This is the third or the fourth. Either way, it's definitely the third. Cheese will be up. And that's 2 extra lives to work with for a team that desperately needs that kind of 6 to 7 man advantage. If you want to throw the bear in, maybe they have 8 heroes. It's still going to be very tough, but that's the kind of fight they need.
Enigma buys back. We do see a replica being created. Morphling looking for the snipe. Here comes a tier. They do see Roshan's very low. Their Aegis and Cheese gets immediately picked up. I mean, like I said, it almost felt like unwinnable. I was like, paint me a scenario that they can win this. And they think that might just be it.
Oh, again?
Korok's not strength morphing if you don't. Ooh. Oh my god, but he dies to the poison.
Wow, the heal. Did Chen just respawn a second late, or was the heal on cooldown? Whatever happened. No, the heal was not on cooldown because he has a scepter. Oh man, I'm not sure if he was up or if he just respawned. Is Quantic throwing this game? That's the question. I mean, they still have the lead. They're up in terms of racks. They force a buyback. That's going to hold on to the 1 racks advantage here. But at this point in the game, getting 1 lane of racks, that's not enough to win it. You need at least 2 to 3, because otherwise, if you look at mTw, they do have a decent amount of anti-push. The wards, the bear, the enigma, all these heroes can clear the creeps pretty effectively, can keep the lanes pushed out. One big mistake by either team could cost them game, and right now, this game, we're into that stage of the game where it's all about buybacks and Roshan. If you could have the extra lives to work with, that's great, you know, through the Aegis and the Cheese, but if you can't, then you'd better damn well have buyback. And in that case, you see why korok didn't complete that satanic. He had the money for it, but good thing he saved for buyback.
Yeah, if he didn't buy back right now, the racks would have been gone from mid. In any case, if I'm an mTw fan, or if I'm one of the mTw players, like, this is all peachy, right? I mean, 10 minutes ago, you're like, this game is hopeless. But now you're seeing some signs of life. You got the Aegis, you got a Cheese, you got to pick off that force back a buyback on Morphling. Like, there is a legitimate chance to win. Look at what korok's doing. He's morphing the strength now. Shotgun's getting a tiny bit weaker. Sure, he's still getting farm, but you're getting farm as well. With those kills, that Aegis, that Roshan, allow your Syllabear to get some, you know, relevant item. He's got the Aegis as well. I think this is the time you put the assault on your bear, on your actual hero. But he's keeping on the syllabear for now. He's stockpiling on gold. He's got 1,500. He's got the Vlad on his bear. Suddenly, I mean,
yeah,
and we talked about earlier.
A lot of eggs in that basket.
Yeah, any one item, it wouldn't be enough. We're saying, you know, what is one item on Queen of Pain that's going to turn a difference? One item's not going to turn it, but if you're adding all these small items here and there, it is going to be a difference. And I think mTw is getting there.
Quantic going fishing for a pick here. Wards up, spotting everything. I'm not sure if they were smoked or if they just rotated down. Was watching that bottom lane, but invisible Sakshika gonna catch out Solaro once again. Quantic gets caught up position. Solaro just melts. No buyback on Solaro. He's got a demon edge. Not sure when he bought that exactly, but oh, Beastmaster barely surviving last hit. Mad TP's out, narrowly avoiding catastrophe for Quantic. If one more hero died, that would be a guaranteed either forced buybacks or set of racks. As it is, mTw are going to force Quantic's hand here. It's going to be hard to defend without that windrunner. Shackle shot so crucial in these fights. I mean, and aside from that, you mentioned the double damage on that windrunner last time around and how much damage she was doing because of all the focus Korok was getting. Now she's got a demon edge as well as the helm of the Dominator. Doesn't even need a DD to be hitting extremely hard. They're about to go high ground. Big engagement here for mTw. They really want this Rax. Glyph is available, is popped immediately. 30 seconds on the Windrunner. They're at least going to lose the Rax without her, or they're going to have to fight without her. Korok is up top, going for the base trade. Replicant is available. Will he actually come back and blink on a last hit magic? Definitely want to focus down that Chen. They get the pick. No buyback on Chen either. No heals, no Holy Persuasion, no mech. And it's going to be a base race from the looks of it. They're not, mTw not done yet, or are they?
They're done. I think they want to get the save and they immediately come back to defend. They are in charge right now. Believe it or not, I think we're saying this game is over. This game's over, right? Or at least I was. Game's still going on, very much so. Hex immediately destroys that illusion, and morphling is going to be going back. I mean, he prevented more Raxes from being destroyed, but you can see how easily Quantic will lose if they get picked off. Painted goal in that early engagement. What is Korok doing?
Oh, I didn't see his replicate up. For a second, I thought it just died. He was going to be in a lot of trouble. Got out at the last second, though, because that bear was going on him. Eddie used waveform in, so Korok knowing the timing there. But yes, if you're a Quantic fan, that just about gave you a heart attack. Yeah,
but back to what I'm saying earlier. I mean, Painted Go went into the Roach Pit by himself on this guy. His team is all over here, so he got immediately picked off. Solera got picked off here when his entire team was in the deep jungle. They cannot make this mistake. I mean, they have the strongest hero on the map right now, but I mean, this is what Dota, not CS, right? That's a poor reference.
let's drop that analogy.
Quantic is giving so much room for mTw to come back. If mTw takes this game, I'm gonna say Quantic lost it. mTw didn't win it.
Well, you talked about not getting picked off, and one thing I want to point out here is a lot of teams opt to go for a late game gem on even an early game gem when you have a Beastmaster with the Hawk, as well as Vengeful Spirit, as well as Power Shot on the Windrunner. So many ways to de-ward to make sure you have map control. And the reason that fight fell apart, look at the wards that mTw has. These are not unusual wards at this stage of the game. They easily spotted it coming, and they punished the positioning. Late game gem would have solved those problems. Oh, Korok, gonna be the first one found. That's very lucky for Quantic. Shackle shot on Funzy, not gonna latch. Roar on to Kebab on the high ground. Nice ultimate from Effing Mad, not getting canceled. Locking Painted Gold in place. Solara getting melted down. He goes down again. Still no buyback on him. Last hit magic. Will he survive? Looks like he'll go down, and Korok is suddenly at a 3-on-2. But if anyone wants to be in a 3-on-2, it will be this Morphling. Sakshika has the cheese. Will he pop it? Cheese is forced out. Funzy is going to join the party, but Korok doing a nice job there. Gets entangled. Will he be able to survive? Effing Mad Malphite cooling down. It's not up yet. Korok trying to solo 3 heroes. If anyone could do it, it's probably Morphling. He's still got the replicate up. He's going to go for Sakshika. He gets him with the shotgun. Eddie can replicate out if he needs to, but he's not done just yet. Buybacks coming left and right. Eddie replicates out. He got real low there.
Only Morphling could do something like that. Being surrounded by 4 as your team dies, yeah, no problem. Let's get kill 1. Let's make it out live. Meanwhile, a couple of buyback from his team as well as his enemy. I mean, that went horrible for Quantic, but that, I mean, as one-sided that fight might have been, it was still better than getting a pick off and then not having a fight at all, at least for Quantic, because they would have lost another Rax if that happened. Any case, I mean, Korok was alive. He got a couple of kills. His teammate died, but at this point, I mean, this is still on your morphling basket, right?
Well, can I just point out that going into that fight, I didn't get a chance to mention it. So many things going on in this game. What a crazy game it's been. 24-23, and the gold graph, the XP graph, still basically, at this point of the game, that's a dead even graph. Even the XP graph, not too meaningful. But korok, he didn't have buyback in that fight. He actually completed up the Satanic, and after the fight, now he's got the gold. But going into it, he didn't. It's a pretty bold move, because with that morphling dead, Quantic has no shot. I mean, he's all of their late game damage, or at least the bulk of it. Solara, yeah, he can do damage, but he's pretty easy to focus down. We've seen him go down in a lot of these fights. And again, I feel like that fight, Quantic dodged a bullet, because morphling was the one that the smoke spotted out first. If it was anyone else, it's so much easier to bring down the other heroes. And in the end, they still got a bunch of the supporting casts. If they had gotten one or two more of the supports, maybe kept one of theirs alive, I feel like that could have been game, or at the very least, forced a ton of buybacks. And speaking of buybacks, this is that time of the game where you really want to take a look, see who's got it. Right now, it looks like only korok does, out of all 10 players.
Yeah, also a very interesting way for mTw to take that fight in the previous team fight we just witnessed. It seems like they don't want to kill korok. It feels like they don't want to focus korok. He's just so hard to kill. It feels like they just want to kill everybody else. The Black Hole went on the supporting cast. We saw Shadow Demon disrupting the morphling, but not using the soul catcher for the morphling. I feel like they just want to reserve everything else and make sure they pick off the 4 other Quantic guys, and then to deal with the morphling themselves. Bad news though, they couldn't deal with morphling, even though they kill everybody. So, I mean, mTw might have to adjust their game plan a little bit. Now, with that said, you still want to pick down 4 heroes. I think, do you want to say that's a favorable trade for mTw?
I mean, it's a good trade. I think it was a good trade for them, but like you said, that's very concerning that they couldn't kill the morphling. And he's still got room for at least 2 more items. Of course, he is saved for buyback, but Boots of Travel, and then 1 more big tier 4 item to complete the inventory. I want to take a look at Effie Mad. You mentioned Lincolns as a possible option, and he's doubled down on that. He's got the Lincolns and the BKB. Now he's able to get the Black Holes off. And in the last fight, I believe he caught at least 1, if not 2 of the heroes that could stop that Black Hole. korok gets initiated on, but not sure they want to go for this gag. Sakshka BKB is forced. And this is a big fight about to break out. Gale onto a bunch of creeps. Not really any heroes. The ult hits him. Painted Gold. Painted Gold being focused. Has already popped the roar. Kabop taking a lot of damage. Disruption on the morphling. Will they actually stand and fight? Solara caught out in no man's land again. Solara gets picked off. That's not a good trade. korok, for the moment, he's trying to pick off Sakshka. No cheese for Sakshka this time. Looks like he might be in a bit of trouble. Oh, that adaptive strike. It hits hard, but not quite hard enough. Meanwhile, korok gets caught out by the bear and the disruption. That's probably going to help him survive. But the Soul Catcher going to drive him back. Effing Mad up on the high ground here. He's got the Black Hole. If he can hit a good one, that could be game, but it's going to be very difficult to find that opening. Painted Gold and korok standing together for the moment. Soul Catcher finally wears off. Funzy going man mode here onto korok. Will he actually be able to win the fight? TP out for Painted Gold. No entangle. There's the entangle. Oh, he sent back. It's not enough. This fight outrageous. And a 2-man Black Hole are the only 2 heroes left. Soul Catcher onto last hit magic. korok actually hit korok. He's dropping so very low. Gale even hits. Maleficent since he's got no replicant. He does have the buyback, but alone korok, he cannot defend, and nobody else has it.
Trust me, he's gonna try, but it's gonna be real tough. Already 2.3k HP, only 11 strength morph, so he's got a lot of room to get for the morph. And mTw sends the blood in the water after the win the team fight. It's korok versus the world right now. The glyph is helping the tower to survive right now, but korok, he's gotta go. He has a replicate up. He sees who. Who is he gonna go on? There's a BKB Lincolns on one. There's a tank Funzy. Funzy is just right-clicking and throwing. The game is over. The game is over! Kabab survived, GG well play gets called.
Hey,
Holy Toledo!
Hey Lumi, guess what? Guess what?
What?
That's game 1. This is a best out of 3. Oh man, I cannot believe that mTw pulled that one out.
My mind has been blown. Game 1 goes to mTw. How did they win this game? I don't know.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that Quantic had to not get caught out, and fight after fight, mTw had the better position, and it shocks me that they did, because they're up against 3 fantastic supports for giving you vision. Windrunner with her power shot, Beastmaster with his hawk, and Vengeful Spirit with the Wave of Terror. Still, a game like this, you cannot pin it on one thing. What a performance really by both teams. A very impressive display. But in the end, mTw take game 1 despite giving Quantic every hero they could hope for.
We're going to be going back to game 2 right now. Don't go anywhere, guys.